we have to kick off things with last night as you look at Cam Skattebo at the top with 31 fantasy points. Shout out to everybody that started Cam Skattebo on a huge night for the Giants offense. We got to hear from the man himself on the big game against the Eagles.
They were the Super Bowl champs last year. You know, there's a whole new season this year, so it's hard to win twice in a row. So props to them. They're a great football team. You know, we see them in another week and a half or 2 weeks. I'm excited to play them again. But like I said, you know, this is a season that we need to keep continuing to build on.
Can you sense the spark you give this team with your running style and obviously your production too?
Yeah, I feel it. But there's a spark that comes from a lot of guys too. You know, Jackson brings a spark. Those guys that in the receiver room that stepped up today and made some great catches, some huge catches on third down, and you know, continuing to build is what we need to do and play as a team. 11 guys are on the field at once, and we all have to play together, and everyone has to be perfect to execute. So props to all of them, and great job today.
What I appreciate about Cam Skattebo is every time after he scores, it just turns into like a gymnast fest. Yeah. He starts doing flips and cartwheels, and it's awesome.
It's unbelievable. He's not going to – it's a young man's game. I don't see him doing that.
Yes, it absolutely is. Cam Skattebo drinks for free, by the way. What a spark for this Giants offense. It's not just Jackson Dart. It is absolutely what he's brought as well. The battering ram, Matthew.
I don't want to – you know, I mean, it's the NFL, right? Any given Sunday, even though it was a Thursday night. So you never, right, any given Sunday, any given day, one NFL team can beat another. But the idea that this Giants team, on a short week against the defending Super Bowl champions, without Malik Neighbors, without Darius Slayton, they're down to like their third-string wide receivers, like little Jordan Humphrey. Who knew he was even on the Giants?
Almost had a touchdown. Really should have had a touchdown.
Should have had a touchdown. And yet, Jackson Dart, and I think this is his third NFL start, and his third NFL start in Cam Skattebo, who, you know, sort of the draft pundit said is not built to be an every down back in the NFL. Like those two guys, and like credit to the defense, like we'll talk about the whole game, but like not only beat the Eagles, but spanked them. Like that game wasn't close. They were clearly the more dominant team. And when you think about the issues on the offensive line for the Giants and just, again, how loaded the Eagles are top to bottom, I get it. Mitchell, Jalen Carter, I get that they had some injuries and some guys missing, but still, that was an ass-kicking. And, again, Bandwagon Jay, you jumped off too quickly. The G-men, Big Blue, might be back.
Well, here's the thing. So one thing, we're like 5 days removed from the Saints handling the Giants. Okay?
That's the insane part.
Speaking of any given Sunday.
So here's the thing. It was a great win. The Giants played great.
Yeah.
I think this says more about the Eagles. Eagles aren't any good. They're just not good at the moment. They have a below-average offense and a below-average defense, particularly when Quinion Mitchell and Jalen Carter out there.
Yeah.
The team just looks broken. They're 4-2. It's a fraudulent 4-2. They should have lost to the Rams.
Yeah. And they easily could have lost to the Bucs.
Easily could have lost to the Cowboys.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Could have lost to the Chiefs. Like they should. I think 3-3 would probably be the most fair record, but 2-4 would be more reflective than 4-2 based on what this team has done so far. But look, credit to the Giants. To your point, like Malik Neighbors is the best player on the team. He's not out there. But Cam Skattebo, it's not just that he's like a novelty. He's just a really good player. Like all the underlying stuff about Skattebo has been great. Tyrone Tracy coming back didn't materially impact his workload enough. So, I mean, is he like a borderline RB1 going forward?
I'd probably rank him more as a legit RB2. But look, to your point about the usage, 3 straight games now with at least 21 touches. And in that stretch, 14 red zone touches, 8 goal line rushes in that game, 5 straight games with at least 13 fantasy points. Since week 2, he's the 7th best running back in fantasy football. Now, that has been kind of propped up by these touchdowns. Like, I mean, he's, you know, like, it's not like he's scoring these long touchdowns, like, but they are getting in close, and they're giving it to him, and he is converting. And this offense under Jackson Dart can move the ball. When Jackson Dart was named the starter, go back and watch the tape. I was just like, Jackson Dart is a top 12 quarterback from moment one. We talked about it in the preseason, Conor. I remember when you drafted Dart, I was like, you drafted in our 2 quarterback league, you drafted Flacco and Dart. I'm like, that actually makes a lot of sense as a quarterback because Flacco will be decent until he loses the job, and then Dart will come in, and Dart's going to be a top 12 guy as soon as he gets an opportunity. And I think, you know, they talked about this on the broadcast, and I think there's some truth to it. Like, because we saw it last year with the Commanders. Like, one guy, again, Skattebo's been great, but it is because of Jackson Dart and the spark that he has given this entire offense that I think everyone's sort of buying in.
Oh, there's a
believing.
different energy in the stadium, and I felt like the Eagles defensively, like their will was kind of broken in the second half last night.
It's completely insane.
Skattebo's running through people, Dart's propelling himself headfirst in defenders at the sticks. Like
it's not just the production, but it's the feeling and everything like that. And I get it. I mean, they just lost to the Saints 5 days ago, so it's just sort of crazy. But Aloha Brick's asking, can Cam keep this production up for the rest of the season? Yes, but. Again, like I think he's a little bit too touchdown dependent. He's not used enough in the passing game for me to say yes, he's an RB1. Like he needs to, like his scoring without touchdowns is, it's fine, but it's not like otherworldly. Right? There are running backs out there that like. Jonathan Taylor doesn't need touchdowns to, Chris McCaffrey doesn't need touchdowns to be fantasy productive, right? Those guys, the Bijan Robinsons of the world. Cam Skattebo, at least to date, needs that. Again, he had an under 8% target share in a game in which the Giants moved the ball at will, and there was no Malik Neighbors or Darius Slayton. Like it's, in a game in which the options were like Little Jordan Humphrey and Jalen Hyatt and Theo Johnson, he still earned less than an 8% target share last night, Skattebo.
Yeah.
Again, they had the pick six. So I think he's a legit RB2.
Yeah,
is what I would rank him like as running back 18 the rest of the season, somewhere in that range.
I would agree with that. Also, it is one of the hardest schedules in football, and they beat the Eagles last night. So let's be fair to the Giants. But you're going to see Denver, the Niners, the Packers, the Lions. Like, and I'm not saying that
at Denver, at Philadelphia, home to San Francisco. Those are the next three.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So I'm with you all the way on the RB2 aspect, and you need Jackson Dart to stay healthy. He's got to protect himself because you don't want Russ back in there with Skattebo.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.